What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to some of the greatest castles in Europe. Now, this is something that I'm very excited about because we don't have castles here in the United States. So, for us Americans, a castle is something that we only see in movies and on TV, and we hear about them in fantasy stories, but we never get to actually see them. So I know in Europe, castles are very, very real, and you guys seemingly have a lot of them all over the place. It's amazing. So today, I want to take a look at some of these by checking out this video by Ryan Shirley. Let's take a look.
Europe's castles remain unmatched to the rest of the world. Alright, let's start this video off at the Orava Castle. Located in Slovakia, Orava Castle is perched perfectly on a skinny rock cliff.
What on earth? You know, I have to admit, this is not what I picture when I picture a castle. This is very unique, and it's up on the top, like you said, it's on top of a cliff. You know, I guess, thinking about the purpose of a castle, to be this impenetrable fortress that's protected and very safe, and actually seems to make a lot of sense to put something like this on top of a giant mountain to be even more protected, right?
This may be one of the most eerie castles in all of Europe.
Ooh.
It was used in many scenes of the famous 1922 horror film Nosferatu.
You see? They're even talking about how castles are in films, movies, and that is where most of us Americans know them from. So this is really cool.
So you definitely get some Dracula vibes there. Now it was built upon a former fortress in the 13th century after the Mongol invasions to defend what was then the Kingdom of Hungary.
Whoa. This is actually amazing. Like, just thinking about how on earth did they build something like this? Like back in the day when they were constructing this? It's absolutely amazing what humans are capable of.
Like many castles, Orava was added on and destroyed by fire, and then it was ultimately restored. I just think it's so crazy how they were able to integrate the castle onto the stone peaks of the hill, and it doesn't even look real.
This is okay. Actually, when you look at this castle from this point of view, it looks more like this is a really cool castle. The way it's built into the landscape, this is actually a really special castle. This is amazing. This looks like out of Lord of the Rings or something, literally.
Crazy how they were able to integrate the castle onto the stone peaks of the hill, and it doesn't even look real. If you want spooky vibes, you gotta check this place out.
That is amazing.
While it's still in Slovakia, we're gonna head over to Spiš Castle. Located about a 2-hour drive from Orava, Spiš Castle is one of Europe's largest by area.
Oh, wow. This is more what I picture in my mind when I think of a castle, except it's really destroyed. You know, that's something that I think a lot of Americans, we don't even think about how old and historical these structures are. So it makes sense that not all of them are in good condition. Or it's a castle. It's where like battles are fought, and it's meant to withstand sieges and attacks, and over time, I guess this is what some castles end up looking like, more like the ruins of a castle.
Its origins begin in the 12th century when it was built upon an earlier castle. The last owners of the castle was a family, and they abandoned it in the 18th century.
Okay, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense that these castles are up on top of like a giant mountain or a hill. Talk about the perfect place if you're gonna have this giant fortress to defend, like using the natural landscape to your advantage, putting it on a really high elevated place. That makes a lot of sense.
because it was too uncomfortable to live in. I'm sure the walk up to the castle wasn't that fun.
Wow.
What I love about Spies is the massive walled area. I mean, that would have been a cool place to hang out during medieval times. Afterwards, we're going to head over to the United...
Where is this? This is okay, we're moving on to the next one. This is what most Americans think when we think of a castle. Something that looks like this.
United Kingdom to visit Conwy Castle. Located in northern Wales, Conwy Castle is an extraordinary piece of history. It was built by Edward I.
Oh my, this is beautiful. This is right out of like when I was a child and we would read storybooks, like fantasy stories, like going to bed. This is the castle that was in the book. This is the castle that a lot of American children think about. I didn't know that. Like, oh my God. In Europe, is it normal for a castle to be right in a town? Like, right next to the city? That is, it is amazing to me that for some Europeans, you just go to work or go to the grocery store or go for a walk, and there's a castle outside. You can just walk by it and see it every day. That is like one of the biggest differences between the US and Europe is like, you guys have a lot of this amazing architecture and these historical buildings, and it's really, really cool. I think it's something a lot of Americans are jealous of, that you have stuff like this.
At the end of the 13th century, the castle, along with the walls surrounding the city, cost £15,000 to build, which was an enormous amount of money back then. Over the next few centuries, it proved as a strong fortress that withstood many wars and sieges. I just really love the round watchtowers and just the pure medieval look that this place has.
I love this. And there's just like cars driving by. This is so weird. There's just like modern cars and boats around this old historical castle. It almost looks out of place.
While we're still in the UK, we're going to head up to Scotland to visit Edinburgh Castle.
Whoa.
Perched upon an extinct volcanic rock, Edinburgh Castle can be seen from all angles of the city. The castle is one of the oldest fortified places in Europe. The rock was inhabited as early as the 1st century, but...
This is amazing. This is amazing, but I'm also distracted. Is there an entire sports stadium next to this castle?
It wasn't until the 12th century when the castle started to take shape. This castle has had one heck of a history.
Wow.
It's 1,100 years of existence. It's believed to have faced 26 sieges, making it the most besieged place in Great Britain and one of the most attacked places in the world. Today, Edinburgh...
Amazing. Literally amazing, the history of some of this stuff. This is over 1,000 years old. And people like here can just drive by it. Like that's amazing to think of what happened at this place over time and that it's still around today.
Castle is one of Scotland's most visited attractions, and it's just a piece of history you gotta witness if you're in Scotland.
This is also by it's like in a city. That is so crazy to me. When I think of castles, of course, like the American idea of a castle is kind of like warped by movies and TV, but I think of a castle in the middle of nowhere. In reality, a lot of them are right next to like cities and stuff.
Another stunning nearby place is Dunnottar Castle.
Like this is a castle. Oh my God, this is in Scotland. This is amazing. Like, just look at everything.
Now, located about 2 hours drive from Edinburgh, this medieval fortress is another historical gem. Today, only the ruins remain to tell the castle's past. The massive cliffs right against the ocean just make this fortress so dramatic.
Ridiculous that this exists. In Scotland? Yeah, I'm starting to see that a lot of these castles, and it makes a lot of sense when you think about it, are, damaged. Some of them are just ruins, like the remains, the remnants of this amazing historical thing. It almost makes it cool in a different way. Like, it gives it a different kind of feeling when it's like the remains of a castle, like scattered among the coast of Scotland with the ocean in the back. It's epic.
I wish I could have seen Dunnottar in its former glory. Another one of my favorite castles in Scotland is the Eilean Donan Castle.
Wow.
Now, if you're driving out to the Isle of Skye, you'll pass right by it. It's situated on a small tidal island.
This literally looks like out of a book, like a storybook, a fantasy novel. Like with the bridge surrounded by water. This is like one of the most perfect castles.
At the point where three great sea locks meet, the castle was built in the 13th century but got completely destroyed in 1719 by the naval force. Luckily, the castle was restored in the 20th century, and today it's one of the most photographed places in Scotland. It's been featured in films such as Highlander. It's just quite the scenic spot you gotta check out if you're...
You see, Highlander. That's what I know castles from, movies, and that's amazing that some of these places were destroyed and actually rebuilt and actually look great.
You're visiting the Scottish Highlands. Alright, after Scotland, we're going to head over to Germany to visit the Hohenzollern Castle. Now, I have to say this is one of the most impressive castles.
Oh my god. What on earth? I still, like, my brain thinks this is fake. My brain thinks this is AI. This is a movie. 'Cause I can't believe this stuff is real.
On the list, it sits perfectly on Mount Hohenzollern and can be seen from miles away. Hohenzollern is the last of three castles that was built upon this hill. It was
amazing. This might be my favorite one. There's something about how it's on a hill, but it's surrounded by a forest and trees. It just makes it look so like fantasy. This is beautiful.
It's completed in 1867 as a memorial to the Prussian royal family. Today it's one of Germany's most visited castles, and I understand why. Another stunning castle in Germany is the Cohem Castle. The original castle was built back in the 1100s, and it made its money by collecting shipping tools on passing ships down on the river. Sadly, it was destroyed in...
Can you visit these castles? Like, how close are you? How close can you get to these? Can you take a tour of it? Like, I'm actually curious. Because this is amazing. Like, most of us Americans will never see a castle in real life. So, even just seeing this is insane. Like, and just knowing that this is... Like, look, down there, there's a town. Like, there's a river, boats, there's people who come out of their house and look up and see this. That's unbelievable to me.
1689 by the French, but in 1868 a wealthy businessman from Berlin decided to rebuild the castle ruins. Today it stands perched on a hill overlooking the beautiful town of Cohem and the Moselle River.
This is in Germany? This is beautiful. This town, this city, this castle, this area. This is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen.
Another stunning castle just 30 minutes away is the Eltz Castle. It's a popular place to get that classic Instagram picture. So if you're in the area, you gotta check both these castles out. You won't regret it. After Germany, we're gonna head over to neighboring Poland to visit the massive Malbork Castle. Located in the northern part of the country, about an hour's drive from Gdansk. Malbork is the largest castle in the world by land area.
Largest castle by land area. Whoa. Yeah, this looks almost like... It almost looks... It's different. It's not the type of castle I'm used to. I understand in different countries and different cultures, you have different styles of architecture and castle building, I'm sure. This is... It's almost like a little town, like with a giant wall around it, but it's a castle.
It was built in the 13th century by the Teutonic Knights, who were German Catholic Crusaders. Now, as the number of knights grew, so did the castle, which encloses an area of 52 acres.
It almost looks like a university or something.
It's just crazy to think that people were able to build such buildings back then. Sadly, more than half of Malbork Castle was destroyed during World War II, but thankfully it has been rebuilt to its former glory. After
I didn't know so many of these castles were like... The history is crazy. A lot of these were destroyed. I mean, they are castles. They are places that are expected to be like under siege and under attack. So it's awesome that a lot of them have been rebuilt and restored really, really well.
We're going to head over to Lithuania to visit the Traki Island Castle. Located on an island in Lake Galv, Traki Castle is one of a kind. It was built in the 14th century, and it served as one of the main centers of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania.
This is cool. This is a style of castle I've never seen before.
Yeah. Over the centuries, the castle survived many battles, but during the 17th century wars with Moscow, the castle was damaged and gradually deteriorated. Thankfully, it was reconstructed in 1961 to portray its 15th century style.
Wow. And again, a lot of these castles are built on a little island or up like at the top of a mountain or something, which is really cool.
I just love the coned orange roofs with the beautiful surroundings of the lake. After, we're going to head over to visit the castles of Transylvania. Now, one of the most famous castles in Transylvania is Bran Castle.
This looks like out of a movie. I don't know what movie. Maybe like Dracula or something.
Located near the city of Osov, castle was built around the 14th century and served as a fortification against the Ottoman Empire. Similar to Orava, Bran has been named Dracula.
Just look at this. Look at this. The idea that this is normal to any Europeans, like, that's outrageous. This is like, these are some of the most beautiful places in the world that I've ever seen.
This castle, thanks to its dramatic architecture. I mean, I could just totally imagine Count Dracula using this castle as his hideout.
Yeah.
Another impressive medieval place in Transylvania is Corvin Castle. It's one of the largest castles in Europe, and its construction began in 1446.
I mean, these are... I legitimately didn't even know that human beings were capable of building things like this. It's almost like supernatural. It's hard to even believe.
Like Bran, it has a creepy vibe to it. Needless to say, Transylvania is a fascinating region full of some of the world's most uncanny castles.
And look at this. So many of these castles are right next to cities and towns. Like, it sounds like there's a lot of Europeans who you literally have like a castle down the street. I can't even begin to explain how strange that is for an American, for us to understand, or like, that's amazing.
After, we're going to head over to Austria to visit the Hohensalzburg Fortress. Perched on a hill in the beautiful city of Salzburg, Hohensalzburg Fortress is one of the largest and best preserved medieval castles in Europe. Construction began in 1077 and it continued to be expanded throughout the centuries. I just love how the fortress overlooks the entire city of Salzburg and it's surrounded by the Austrian Alps.
Unbelievable.
Quite the place. Now, after Austria, we'll head over to Malta to visit the Cittadella, located on the island of Gozo. The Citadel is a massive fortress with quite the history.
Oh, wow. I like the variety. We're really going to a lot of different places in Europe. This is very good. This is a totally different style of castle. I almost wouldn't have even known this was a castle.
And before it was a fortress, it's believed to have been the site of an acropolis. Now, during medieval times, the acropolis was converted into a castle, and it served as a refuge for the people of Gozo.
I am not sure what the technical difference between a fortress and a castle is, but this was a fortress then a castle. That kind of explains why it looks a little different.
I just can't believe how massive it is. What a place. After, we're going to head over to Portugal to visit the Castle of Leiria. Constructed in the 12th century, this castle was built to create a line of defense against the Arabs. Throughout the years, the castle started to lose its military importance and it was damaged extensively by...
I love this. The wall is very cool. And the way you guys have managed to build these castles in these crazy geographical locations, like with the geography, down the hill, around the mountain, that can't be easy. It's amazing these even exist. And they're supposed to be very functional. Like, it's a fortress. It's a big wall. It's meant to protect you. It's very functional. It has a very specific purpose. It just so happens they're also beautiful.
French invasions. Today, the castle has been restored, and I just love how it's integrated with the city. I mean, there's just houses all around it. It'd be pretty cool to live next to the castle, if you ask me. After Portugal,
apparently, like, everybody lives next to a castle in Europe. Like, almost all these castles are next to towns and cities.
Head over to Spain to visit the Alcázar de Segovia, now located in
Wow.
central Spain, about an hour's drive from Madrid. I have to say this is one of Spain's most dramatic castles. It has a very
Wow.
distinct shape that resembles the bow of a ship. The
It's very tall as well.
castle was built in the 12th century as a fortress, but served as a royal palace, prison, and military academy throughout the years. Today, it's a museum and one of Spain's most unique castles.
Unbelievable.
After Spain, we're going to head over to the Netherlands to visit Castle de Har.
Whoo! This looks fancy. This looks expensive.
Located about 30 minutes outside of Amsterdam, Castle de Har is one of the most beautiful and well-kept castles in Europe.
How did they build it right on a lake? This is like too perfect. This looks like a video game. Like it's too perfect.
The surrounding grounds and gardens are immaculate. The castle has 200 rooms and 30 bathrooms. So if you're in Amsterdam, you might as well check this place out. After Netherlands, we're going to head over to Georgia to visit the Rabati Castle. I was shocked when I found out about this place. It's so well preserved. The medieval fortress was built in the 9th century by...
Is this all a castle? This another castle that looks huge.
A Georgian prince, and over the next 3 centuries, the fortress grew into a city with guarded entrance gates, watchtowers, all surrounded by an...
I don't know how many different ways I can say it. This is truly magnificent. It's crazy. Like when I say we don't have anything that looks remotely close to any of this here in the United States, this looks like a different planet.
Impressive medieval walls. The city survived many invasions and continued to thrive. Today, the Rabati fortress has been restored, and in my opinion, it's one of the most underrated medieval fortresses in all of Europe.
Yeah.
Inside the fortress, there's a mosque, fountains, and other impressive features.
Fancy.
It's such a beautiful place. You gotta check out if you're ever in Georgia.
Fancy.
Now, for our last castle, we're gonna return to Germany to visit the iconic Neuschwanstein Castle.
These castles that are with these dramatic landscapes and built on top of a mountain somehow, these are crazy.
Now, I have to say, this is the most beautiful castle in all of Europe. It's what inspired
Whoa.
Disney's Sleeping Beauty castle. It would be the perfect place for a princess. Now, the castle...
He's declaring this the most beautiful castle in Europe. I actually think there were some other castles that I thought were a little more beautiful than this. I will say, this has one of the most beautiful surroundings, and the way they built up the foundation and to even have this castle on top of this forest and this mountain, that's incredible. It's beautiful, but it's hard to say which of these castles is the best. They're all very different and amazing.
Inspired Disney's Sleeping Beauty castle, it would be the perfect place for a princess. Now, the castle is nestled at the very tip of southern Germany. Neuschwanstein Castle is perfectly placed in the mountain.
Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. That is pretty ridiculous.
With a phenomenal 360 view of the Bavarian Alps and the town below. The construction of the castle began in 1869. Now, during World War II, the SS debated blowing up the castle to prevent it from falling into the enemy's hand, but thankfully it never happened. The castle receives over 1.4 million visitors a year, so it's definitely a tourist hotspot. I just can't get over the beauty of this castle. It's truly something out of a fairy tale.
Okay. That was something. This video changed my brain chemistry forever. It is, I almost can't even understand how Europe is so different. And especially with these castles, the fact that this is a part of your culture, a part of your history, and you have things like this, these castles, that is one of the most amazing, beautiful things about Europe. And it was awesome to get to see all these. What more can you say? This is stuff that Americans dream about. Really. So I enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these castles. If you've ever seen any of these, if you've been to them, that'd be amazing to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.